It was becoming clear that cats were not ideal as bomb guidance systems. By 1943, the US Navy was desperate for some device that could bomb mainland Japan. Their solution was the brainchild of Dr. Lytle S. Adams. Part-time fiendish inventor, full-time dentist. He plans to bomb Japan using bats. The following stories involve the extreme exploitation of bats and pigeons. Viewer discretion is advised. In 1941, Dr. Lytle Adams was visiting the Batcave of Carlsbad Caverns when he heard the Japanese had bombed Pearl Harbor. The two events fused in his mind, and he came up with a cunning plan.
A bat bomb? Are you out of your mind?
But Adams isn't totally nuts. He's done the math.
There are two ways to get 15 kilotons on a target. One, you can drop one atomic bomb, 15 kilotons, no problem. The other way to do it is you use 1 million bats with a half an ounce of incendiary on them, or high explosive, same effect, 15 kilotons.
Adams had thought everything through. Bats have an inbuilt guidance system, acoustic sensors. They carry their young in flight, so they're strong enough to carry explosives. They like to roost under building roofs. And Japanese buildings were mostly made of wood, bamboo, and paper, perfect for setting fire to. It all makes perfect sense.
You get a big fire going with 1 million bats, you're going to incinerate the city.
It's a weird combination of logic and insanity. The idea might have died, except one of his patients was married to a very powerful man.
Franklin D. Roosevelt said that this man is not a nut.
I don't find it amazing that the president decided to go ahead with this. I think that they needed to try anything. And if the science showed that it could work and the tests showed that it worked, what do you got to lose?
A $2 million research and development program gets underway. To make the tiny bat bombs, Adams uses a secret new invention, a jelly explosive called napalm. The Air Force will drop hundreds of containers, letting loose 1,000 bats at a time. Each bat would carry a half-ounce napalm charge clipped to its chest, rigged with a timer. Once the napalm detonated, it would burn very fiercely and turn to liquid. The flames would pour into every crack and crevice. He was going to turn Tokyo into a firestorm.
The bat bomb worked. It absolutely worked. There was no question about that it worked.
In August 1943, the bat bombs unleashed the firestorm of Adams' dreams. Unfortunately, this isn't Tokyo. It's a US military base in Carlsbad, New Mexico, where the bats are being trained.
The bats were accidentally released and they immediately went to the base where they were working from and decided to, roost and destroy the entire base.
Thanks to the bats, the American air base burned to the ground. When it comes to guided weapons, whether balloons or bats, weird sometimes works. And as we'll see, an animal guidance system could work really well if the animal could be trained to go in the right direction and it didn't black out in midair. The answer was simple: the pigeon.
If somebody says to you, pigeon-guided missile, the first thing you say is, what? It doesn't make any sense. Pigeons come home. Wrong place for a missile.
But genius sees things differently. At the height of World War II, the Allies needed a guidance system that could target enemy warships. They found the answer in Harvard, and it was truly weird. Meet B.F. Skinner, Harvard professor and world authority on human and animal behavior.
B.F. Skinner was one of the great minds in psychology.
He actually pioneered positive and negative reinforcement, the basis of all animal training.
Skinner was probably the greatest psychologist of the 20th century. Some people think Sigmund Freud was, but he was really a neurologist.
After years of studying animals in the lab, Skinner discovered a priceless military secret. If a smart weapon needs a smart pilot, then pigeons are the top guns. They have exceptional eyesight. Their brains can process visual information 3 times faster than a human's. And, most importantly, they can be trained.
They're very smart. If someone tries to insult you and say you're a bird brain, my response would probably be, thank you.
Skinner trains his pigeons using positive reinforcement. If it makes the right response, like pecking when it's told to, the pigeon gets a reward. Using this method, he trains them to complete incredibly complex tasks. He even teaches them to play ping pong. Project Pigeon gets full military funding. And Skinner comes up with a groundbreaking missile design. The pigeon's head is squeezed into a sock, and it's placed in the missile where it can see the target ship through the windows. When the missile goes off course, the pigeon pecks at the target ship. The pecking controls the tail fins, bringing the missile back on target.
He's not thinking, I want to get that target, all right? But he is going to keep pecking when the target stays on the center, because that's when he was getting his food during training.
A metal conductor was attached to the bird's beak to transmit its pecks to the guidance system. This footage shows Skinner's actual testing using projected images of enemy ships. The pigeons hit the target with near-perfect accuracy.
B.F. Skinner proved, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that a pigeon-guided bomb would work.
Even though it tested well, the U.S. High Command simply could not bring themselves to trust their bombs to bird brains. Luckily for the pigeons, they pulled the plug. The super psychologist was ultimately stymied by a simple lack of trust.
But wouldn't you love to see it? Imagine taking out the enemy with a pigeon. That's got to be worth seeing.